If you're sending your kids to Texas A&M in College Station, Texas, there's a reality about student housing that most parents don't see coming until it's too late. We're talking about the random roommate lottery. When you sign a per bed lease in a big apartment complex, you're not choosing your child's environment. A vacancy algorithm is. I'm Greg Schwartz, and I've spent years helping families navigate the College Station market. I've seen firsthand how a bad roommate situation can derail a semester, and as a father of two girls, I would not want that for my daughters, and I wouldn't want it for yours either. So today I'm going to show you why ownership is the best way to guarantee who your kid is living with while they're miles away at school. It's easier than you might think, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. So let's talk about how this actually works, because parents don't realize what they're signing up for. When your kid leases a bed in one of those big complexes, like Park West, The Rise, Rev, whatever, they're signing what's called a per bed lease. Each roommate signs individually, which sounds fine, right? Your kid picks their friends, everybody signs, problem solved. Here's where it falls apart. So what happens in October when one of those roommates drops out, or transfers, or decides to study abroad? That bed doesn't stay empty. The complex is gonna fill it. And they will fill it with whoever applied most recently, whoever needs a bed. They'll say that you have input, but at the end of the day, they want to fill that vacancy, and they will fill it. Some 25-year-old property manager who doesn't know your family and doesn't care will make that call. And that's not a worst case scenario, guys. That's happening every semester in College Station. Now, before I get into the rest of this, if you're already sold on the idea of owning and you just want to start the conversation, go ahead and shoot me an email with the word Aggie to info@schwartzrealtygroup.com, and I'll personally reach out to you. For everybody else, stick with me, because it gets worse before it gets better. Let me give you a scenario that keeps dads like us up at night. And I say this as somebody who has two young girls. Your daughter meets three girls at orientation, and they become roommates. It's a great group of girls. You feel pretty good about it. But by October, one of the girls has a new boyfriend. He's not paying rent. He's not on the lease, but he's sleeping there 3 or 4 nights a week. At a big complex, what are your options? You're gonna call the leasing office to let them know, and they'll say, yeah, that's right. They're not allowed to have an unauthorized occupant that's not on the lease. But then they'll do absolutely nothing, because enforcing that clause means that they have to confront a tenant. And, well, they don't get paid enough to care about this situation. Here's what changes when you own the property. You are the landlord. You wrote the lease. You decide what's in it, and you decide what gets enforced. Unauthorized overnight guests, that is in the lease. Background checks on every tenant before they sign, also in the lease. No subletting without written approval, that's in the lease. You don't have to hope that some property manager is paying attention. You are the property manager, and that means you control the environment your kid is ultimately living in. So what actually changes when you own the property instead of renting at a major apartment complex? Well, you control these 3 things. Number 1, you control the roommates. Your kid picks their friends, they pick their roommates, but you ultimately approve them. And everybody goes through a background check before they get a key. There's no algorithm. There's no stranger moving into the empty bed in October. You control the front door. Number 2, you control the environment. And I don't just mean who's living there. I mean when the AC goes out at 10 p.m. the night before finals week. And it will go out. You're not submitting a maintenance request and hoping that somebody shows up in a few weeks. You call your guy. It gets fixed in 1 to 2 days. And that's not a small thing. When your student is trying to study for the biggest exam of their semester, you get to provide that environment, that peace of mind, and that level of comfort for your kid, even miles away. Number 3, this is my favorite, guys. You control the equity. The roommates that get moved in that you approve of, well, they're backed by guarantors, meaning that there's real money behind the money coming in to cover your mortgage. That principal pay down, that appreciation, that is yours to keep, not some apartment complex. Now, I know what you're thinking, Greg, this sounds great, but I can't afford to buy a house for my kid. Stick with me for 2 more minutes, because the math is going to change how you think about this. There's 2 numbers that trip up parents when it comes to buying. Number 1 is the upfront capital to acquire the property. So you're probably thinking you need to put 20% down on a $400,000 property. Well, the truth is, most of my investor parents are buying properties for around $325,000, but they go as low as $200,000 for a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. But that $325,000 property at 20% down is still going to cost you $65,000 in down payments with a conventional 20% down. But there are other options. If you're looking at other options, you need to check out this video here where I let you know a secret where you can put as little as 3.5% 4% down. The other number that parents want to focus on is going to be that monthly payment. Now, here's where things get pretty interesting. On that $325,000 property at 20% down, your monthly payment's probably $2,100 to $2,400, depending on your interest rate and taxes. You've got a 4-bedroom. Your kid lives in one. You've got 3 vacant bedrooms. At $700 a month, and honestly, that's very doable, you're bringing in $2,100 a month in income. Now, here's the part that really gets me. Picture yourself sitting there at graduation 4 years later. You, dad, get a graduation gift. And that, of course, is this asset that has appreciated. You can keep it as a rental property. You can sell it and tap into that equity, or heck, give it to your kids to give them a head start on life. The point is that all the other families around you paid rent, $1,200 to some big box apartment every single month. You grew your equity. And that is a huge difference. And that is powerful. Now, look, I get it. Buying a house or a home or an investment remotely in a market that you don't know, it sounds like a major undertaking. And honestly, it might not be right for you. But if you're considering this, we should at least get the conversation started. So again, just shoot me that email with the word Aggie to info@schwartzrealtygroup.com, and I'll get back to you and we can figure out if this is going to be a good fit. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about how to run the math on a property like this, or just about being an Aggie parent investor, check out this video here.